Hello there, very good evening to you. You are watching Prime Time News on the 31st of December 2018. I'm Chaturang Hapuarachi.
And I'm Dasniya Tadar. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
President in Kandy says that the journey starting 2019 should be free of corruption. The Collegial Leadership Council for the Alliance, including the United National Party. Backbench MPs disappointed once again. Millions of the stable fund spent. Employees of independent television network protest against arbitrary rule. All provincial governors tender their resignations. 200 kilograms of heroin seized in Dehiwala. Shortage of medicinal drugs. Government doctors allege spot purchases could lead to corruption.
Taking a look at those stories in detail, President Maithripala Sirisena obtained the blessings at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic today.
Following religious observances, President Maithripala Sirisena met with the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera. The head of state also met with the Anunayaka of the Askiri chapter, Venerable Venduruwe Upali Thera, at the Gedige temple in Kandy and obtained blessings. The Anunayaka also inquired into the matter where a year ago then Minister of Highways Lakshman Kiriyalla was instructed to renovate the road leading from Teldeniya to Vedaruwa. The renovation, however, was only limited to an inauguration ceremony. The President summoned the engineering officer in charge of that area and proceeded to question him regarding the matter. Afterward, the President inspected the building site of the library that's been built under the patronage of Venerable Venduruwe Upali Thera.
අපේ රටේ තියෙන මූලිකම ප්‍රශ්නය තමයි අපි කොතෙක් දුරට රට ගොඩනගන්නද අවංකද කියන ප්‍රශ්නය.
The biggest question that prevails is how far do we honestly want to develop this nation? When you take the political sphere, different talks and discussions take place. Amidst all this, we should identify who truly are dedicated towards this country. We have named 2019 as a corruption-free year. We aim to achieve our sustainable development goals. By individuals fulfilling their own responsibilities and tasks, we can create a good society.
දූෂණයෙන් තොර වැඩ කරන වර්ෂයක් බවට පත්වීම කියලා ඒ තුල අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වන තීරසර සංවර්ධන ඉලක්ක සම්පූර්ණ කර ගැනීමත් ඒ වගේම යහපත් සමාජයක් ගොඩනැගීමත් මම හිතනවා සෑම කෙනෙකුගේම වගකීම් සහ යුතුකම් ඉටු කිරීම තුල කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
ජනාධිපතිතුමනි එදා මේ වත්මන් අගමැතිතුමා වැඩ බාරගත්තී ඔබතුමාගේ දේශනාව රටම මේ අගය කරා. මේ
නෑ ඒ කියන්න දෙන්නේ ඉතින් අගය කළා ඉතින් හොඳයි
අගය කරා එතකොට ඔබතුමා කිව්වා මේ පොතක් ආපහු මේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ අත ගැන ලියනවායි කියලා ඒක
පොත
Vice Admiral KKT Pial de Silva was appointed as the 23rd Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy by President Maithripala Sirisena.
He received his letter of appointment from the President at the President's official residence today. Rear Admiral de Silva was appointed as the Navy Commander after he was promoted to the rank of Vice Admiral. The President extended his best wishes to the current commander of the Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Sirimewan Ranasinghe, who will make his retirement tomorrow. He was granted a service promotion to the rank of Admiral at his retirement. Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga has been appointed as the new Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and Mass Media. He received his letter of appointment from President Maithripala Sirisena at the President's official residence.
Governor of the Northern Province, Reginald Kure, says All governors, including himself, have tendered in their letters of resignation to President Maithripala Sirisena. He made the statement at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
කැඳවල නෑ එතුමන්ලා සිල් දෙනාගෙම ඉල්ලාස්වීමේ ලිපි අරගෙන ඔබතුමාත් ඒ ලිපිය බාර දීලා බාර දීලා කවද්ද ඔබතුමා ඒ ලිපිය බාර දුන්නේ 29 වෙනිදා සියලුම අනුග්‍රහ වෙනකොට කියන්නේ මම දන්න විදිහට බාර දීලා තියෙනවා මට පවරන රාජකාරිය හරියාකාරව කරනවා.
As far as I know, everyone has given their resignations. I will fulfill my duty properly. It is okay even if I'm not being given responsibilities, but if they do, I will fulfill them. When someone does the same thing every day, they tend to get used to it. They see it as the same thing and not see anything extraordinary. There will be nothing new. That is why not just all governors, but every state sector employee change every 5 years.
අවුරුදු 5කට සැරයක් මාරු කරන්නේ ඒ හේතුව.
Attempts are being made to hide behind yet another leadership council at a time when the leadership of the United National Party is challenged. This new segment, The Leadership Trap, is dedicated for this purpose.
This is the 24th year that Ranil Wickremesinghe is holding on to the leadership of the United National Party. In over 2 decades, the party has lost nearly 30 elections. At all the instances when the leadership of the United National Party was challenged by party members, its leader, Ranil Wickremesinghe, used tactics like establishing leadership councils to evade the problem. The country remembers the leadership council that was established, headed by Karu Jayasuriya. It is possible that even Karu Jayasuriya is unaware of what happened through this leadership council. Not only did Ranil Wickremesinghe drag back the United National Party and its supporters, but also resorted to hide behind 2 common candidates in a bid to hang on to power. In 2010, Sarath Fonseka was fielded as the presidential candidate, and Ranil Wickremesinghe ensured that he protected the position of party leader and opposition leader. Again in 2015, Maithripala Sirisena was fielded as the common candidate, and Ranil Wickremesinghe was made sure that the positions were secure. After the victory of President Maithripala Sirisena, attempts were made to grab the powers of the president through the 19th Amendment. If not for the legal action taken by MTV, provisions that could jail heads of media institutions and provisions where they could be fined would also have been included in the amendment. The Supreme Court, after considering the petition submitted by this network, said that 2/3 majority and a referendum is necessary to approve the problematic clauses. The people now understand that the 19th Amendment, which is brought forward to rob power, has only brought about more problems. The supporters also understand now that irrelevant of what happens to the country, Ranil Wickremesinghe has been able to safeguard his position as the leader of the United National Party. Again, when the leadership of the party is at the risk of being challenged, what Ranil Wickremesinghe is trying to attempt is to create a collegial leadership council.
The presidential election is coming up next year. I would like to remind you all that we will contest the presidential election with a candidate that would win it. Ranil Wickremesinghe is the current leader of the UNP. We will face the election joining forces with him. We must thank everyone who supported us directly and indirectly, including the leader of the TNA. We have to put our maximum effort to fulfill their aspirations. At the upcoming presidential election, we must work to bring a real agent of the United National Party forward as the president. We also hope to leave aside the party differences and register the United National Front as a broad alliance.
The latest leadership trap in the Collegial Leadership Council has now come to light. According to the Daily Mirror, a collegial leadership of 10 members is proposed for the new political front to be formed by the United National Party, along with the like-minded parties such as the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, the Jatika Helorume and the Tamil Progressive Alliance. It added the constitution of the new alliance, called Democratic National Front, has already been drafted. The UNP will have the chairmanship of this leadership body.
Leaders of so-called parties that have only 1 or 2 members and leaders whose members are travelling in 3-wheelers are now bringing forward a theme called the Broader Alliance and are trying to join their teams into the UNP. If they are trying something like this, that is not something that the people hope for. When the strength of the UNP has been brought down by putting forward 2 common candidates, everyone is now rallying together with the blessings of the leadership to create a single party government. There are young leaders like Sajith Premadasa and Navin Disanayaka. We would like to bring this to the attention of the Prime Minister. Do not act according to the wants of the so-called leaders and sacrifice our party. We must win the next presidential election.
ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණය ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න ඕන.
පුළුල් සන්ධානයක් නිර්මාණය.
The question is, who has the want to create a broader alliance? There are questions as to why certain backbench parliamentarians who were against leadership councils in the past and who said restructuring is necessary have now lifted their hands and approved this after receiving ministerial positions. We make a request from this group that requests this broad alliance. We are against the fact that they are trying to achieve their leadership objectives through our party. Their second-tier leadership has to also understand that they should not be at the back and must come forward with a rigid backbone. They must accept the challenge and discuss matters with the leader and take future actions.
ඉදිරි අඩපිළිවෙල හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ
The UNP will never change. When there is an issue in the leadership, they are trying to bring up a leadership council. What are they trying to do? Ranil Wickremesinghe will remain the same in the same position. There is nothing else to say. Without handing this over to Sajith and Naveen, he is destroying the party. Sajith and Naveen are waiting to get this. They will never get this. They will never ever be able to get it either. They must fight for it. No one will come forward and say here is the presidency or here is the prime minister position. Ranil Wickremesinghe is trying to be the candidate in 2020. That is good. Come. If that happens, the UNP will go back several years. That is clear.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ පස්සට යනවා කියන එක අපි පැහැදිලිව කියන්න කැමතියි.
The UNP has convened a backbench parliamentarians meeting tomorrow. The groups who rendered their support during the so-called 56-day struggle have also been invited for morning tea before the backbench meeting. This is exactly what happened in the past when the leadership was challenged. What will happen in the end? Will the United National Party supporters end up without the United National Party? Meanwhile, a group headed by the UNP is in an attempt to bring in a new constitution. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution was brought in to mitigate the executive powers of the President. Is there an ulterior motive behind bringing in a new constitution?
We are currently preparing a new constitution. We hope to present it in Parliament next year. We will not make any change to the 9th section of the Constitution which provides for Buddhism.
අපි ඒකීය කියන වචනය විවස්ථාවේ සිංහල කොපියටයි ද්‍රවිඩ කොපියටයි ඉංග්‍රීසි කොපියටයි දාන්නේ එකම වචනේ ඒකීය කියන.
The Sinhalese term for unitary government will be included into the Sinhalese, Tamil and English copies of the new constitution so that the term will never be misinterpreted by anyone. Representatives of the Tamil political parties proposed to use the term Orumittandu. However, we refused and stated that we must use the Sinhala term in all three versions. We have been accused of joining hands with the Tamil political parties, but dear friends, they only seek development.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who met with the Mahanayaka Theras recently, also made similar statements to those of Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla. However, those steering the drafting of the new constitution expressed a different view.
This question is in line with the Tamil medium. When Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met with the Mahanayakas, did he speak in Tamil? In his statement, he said the unitary government in Sinhala. The correct term for unitary government in Tamil is not Otriyache, and this has been stated in the draft. The correct term for unitary government is Orumittandu, and this has also been stated in the draft. Even after this, when he says unitary government, the media states the wrong term.
මේ ෆෙඩරල් ව්‍යවස්ථාව ගැන සුමන්දිරන් මන්ත්‍රීවරයා කියන කතාව ඇත්තද? අද ද්‍රවිඩ ජාතික සන්ධානය
Is MP Sumandiran speaking the truth about the new federal constitution? Today the TNA has expressed their views regarding this matter. MP Sumandiran and the TNA have revealed to the entire country the manner in which the new constitution is being drafted and how it is to be presented in Parliament. We asked the UNP and the JVP whether the story narrated by MP Sumandiran is true. It is not for the love of Ranil Wickremesinghe that the TNA supported the UNP to claim majority in Parliament. Why did the TNA extend their support? It's because they prefer the tiger more than the butterfly. This clearly shows that a majority voted for Ranil Wickremesinghe to facilitate the introduction of a federal system.
TNA සංවිධානය වඩා කැමති කොටියට මිසක් සමනලයන්ට නෙවෙයි. රනිල්ට බහුතරය දුන්නේ ෆෙඩරල් ව්‍යවස්ථාව ගෙන එන්න කියන කාරණේ අද පැහැදිලි වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Welcome back to the news. A group of backbench MPs of the United National Party have decided to maintain a firm stance about a few ministers.
It was the members of the UNP that helped defeat the 52-day conspiracy and rebuild the country. If there is any minister who disregards our objectives, or if there is any minister who only serves the people of Colombo 7, we will act independently and oppose their respective expenditure accounts. It will not be limited to 7 or 8. Also, there is no reason to give ministerial portfolios to MPs who joined the UNP through the national list.
Parliamentarian SM Chandrasena expressed these views in Anuradhapura this morning.
When everyone was struggling for a position in the cabinet, Malik Samarawikrama, Rishad Badiuddin and Mano Ganeshan said they were not expecting any ministerial portfolios. However, afterwards we saw how they were loaded with several positions. It's all a myth and a lie to mislead the backbench MPs of the UNP. Young parliamentarians are disappointed over the actions of Ranil Wickremesinghe and other members of the ruling party and criticize the manner in which ministers have been appointed. The young leaders should be given an opportunity. It is an injustice to the United National Party and also the young MPs.
On News First Newsline program this morning, significant concern emerged as to the appointment of defected candidates through the national list system.
Former Minister and Parliamentarian Mr. Gunasekara pointed out that the 14th Amendment to the Constitution carried with it a certain anomaly, which, according to Mr. Gunasekara, was inconsistent with what was debated in Parliament in 1988.
Team News First has always espoused the cause of think before you vote. And we've been disappointed in the past because although the people did think and thought about it long and hard and left various people out, unfortunately those people found their way back in through something sensational called the national list.
That is another story, national list. There's another fraud perpetrated on our country, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Mr. Gunasekara referred to this as a blatant violation. Mr. Ranasinghe Premadasa's Parliamentary Select Committee, of which Mr. Premadasa was the chairman, carried a recommendation that had zero provision for defeated candidates to be brought in through the national list. The man who was later to become president, Ranasinghe Premadasa, had recommended via his Parliamentary Select Committee that names of the national list nominees would be gazetted along with the nomination list of members of Parliament. Mr. Premadasa clearly envisaged that, relying on this methodology, there would be zero possibility of defeated candidates being brought in through the national list mechanism. However, according to Mr. Gunasekara, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which had been ratified by the Chief Justice, was not debated in Parliament, and Mr. Gunasekara maintains that a forthcoming book will reveal that indeed there was no reference in the Hansard to the amendment that was previously ratified by the then Chief Justice.
Biggest fraud perpetrated by the judiciary, the Speaker and the President of this country. Defeated candidates to be made eligible for the national list. No such legislation was passed by the Parliament. I'll prove it. Supreme Court did not allow me to present it. It dismissed. The Speaker introduced that small amendment after the passing, after the bill was passed.
Deputy Minister of Social Empowerment attended an event to purify wells that were affected by the floods in Kilinochchi.
The Deputy Minister assisted the locals in cleaning wells during the event. We welcome Sarath Fonseca when he joined the UNP as a common candidate after he completely disregarded Mahinda Rajapaksa, who provided political leadership during the war. I was imprisoned for 400 days after I campaigned for him. Before the previous parliament was dissolved, I was the Deputy Minister of Wildlife when he was the minister in charge of it. I was preparing to go around the country with him. He gets ready on Friday and spends the night at a 5-star hotel. He wakes up at around 11 AM and attends a meeting at 1, then another meeting at 6, and he goes back to the hotel for the night. I decided to go on my own journey because I did not like his routine. I went around the country to help people with wild elephants and to build fences. My vehicle was also taken by him and I was mistreated. Fonseca leaves at 11 in the morning and doesn't get off the vehicle without a pair of slippers. He did not even remove the slippers when visiting Covils. He was an army commander. You cannot engage in Sri Lankan politics while sitting on a chair in an air-conditioned room.
General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance spoke about the current political situation in Hambantota today.
80% of those who received ministerial positions are not happy with their ministries. The state and the deputy ministers are not happy. Parliamentarians criticize and complain about not receiving anything. These are problems on that side and on our side as well. We lost 6 MPs and it is not a good situation for us. They joined the United National Party. And on the other hand, the Flower Bud Party has issues. There are different opinions everywhere. The TNA also has issues. So what happens then? When there are problems within the party, they will not have time to think about the country. Those who do not have power struggle to obtain power, and those who have power, they struggle to hold on to it. We are saddened by the fact that they do not do anything for the country. I think it is important that we change that system. If we do not work together as a country, we will be indebted to the country.
Police arrested 2 Bangladeshi nationals with 200 kilograms of heroin in Dehiwala today.
Police media spokesperson SP Ron Gunasekara said the heroin was valued over 3,000 million rupees. The raid was carried out by the Police Narcotic Bureau following a tip-off received that led to the arrest of the 2 suspects. The police also added that 5 kilograms of cocaine was taken into police custody. Meanwhile, on the 6th, the Police Narcotics Bureau, in a joint mission, took into police custody a stock of heroin worth more than 2,778 million rupees. This took place in the sea area between Beruwala and Balapitiya.
The Health Ministry today reported that there is a shortage of about 80 types of medicinal drugs in the country. A senior official stated that the situation arose as a result of the political uncertainty that was prevalent in the country.
Residents in several parts of the country are facing severe difficulties due to this. When we inquired into the matter, it was revealed that a number of hospitals are experiencing shortages of medicinal drugs and that patients have to resort to purchasing medication externally as a result.
Pharmacy ගන්න කියලා කිව්වා. දැන් මගේ අතේ නෑ දැන් ටවුන් එකට ගිහින් ගන්න ඕන ගමට. මට මේ බේත් පිටි වගේක් ගන්න ගියවුවා මට සල්ලි නෑ. එක පැත්තක් රුපියල් 200යි. මේ ස්පිතාලෙන් දෙන බේත් ටික අරගෙන යනවා. සල්ලි දීලා ගන්න විදියක් නෑ මට.
This is how nurses at the hospital purchase the medicinal drugs externally. The Health Ministry stated that a special committee has been appointed to provide a solution to this issue as soon as possible. The Health Ministry further said that the relevant authorities have been instructed to carry out all procedures necessary to import these medicinal drugs.
As per our knowledge, none of these officers were changed. We have not come into 2019. We are still in 2018. So if the plans were in place, this would not have occurred, especially medication that is considered vital. When a kidney is transplanted, there are medicinal drugs that must be administered to the patient. There is no medicine as such that can be bought by spending 10,000 or 20,000 rupees, especially in government hospitals. The medicine mafia loves this kind of a situation. This is because they can skip the normal procedure and skip the tender process in purchasing this medication.
Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs Sajith Premadasa visited Kilinochchi and Mullaitivu to look into the well-being of those affected by the floods.
The minister engaged in a discussion with the officers of the District Secretariat Office. Future President Honorable Minister Sajith Premadasa. Our Minister Sajith Premadasa do what he says. We know that very well. Later, the minister met with the locals temporarily residing in the Pannakadi school in Kilinochchi.
Those who were affected by the floods are in distress. I make a pledge that we will solve the housing issue very soon. We will construct better and stronger houses to those who lost their shelters. We will make arrangements to help everyone in distress for a better tomorrow. We will start the reconstruction of the houses from Kilinochchi on my birthday on the 12th of January.
මගේ උපන් දිනයත් සමගම අපි කිලිනොච්චි මුලතිව් බල ප්‍රදේශයේ ඒ කටයුත්ත ආරම්භ කරනවා කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න ඕන.
The minister also met with the locals taking temporary shelter in the Manna Kandal area in Pudukudiripu, Mullaitivu.
The minister did not bring relief using state funds. He brought his personal donations from the south.
You're in power today and we helped you to it. So we hope that you will assist us in providing permanent solutions to the problems faced by our people. We also request you to engage in your father's footsteps and provide solutions to the housing issue of our people.
Rice worth more than 5 million rupees was distributed among 30,000 families in both districts.
Another protest was launched by the employees of the independent television network today.
The protest commenced this morning and was carried out till the evening. The employees alleged that there had been irregularities taking place in the organization in the recent past.
There are nearly 700 permanent employees working in the organization. 400 employees out of them have placed their signature in the letter that we submitted to the President. In the letter, we have mentioned that during the last 3 to 4 years, more than 640 million rupees has been withdrawn from our stable fund. We have stated the company has been running on profit since 2015. In 2016 and 2017, we have been running at a loss. We cannot pay the wages and the monthly salaries due to this issue. The money has been laundered to make money from the programs they advertise on our channel produced by their private companies.
The
problem is the appointments made under political influence. Appoint people within the channel rather than appointing old people to the highest positions and paying them a large sum of money. This is dictatorship. The channel cannot be controlled by this dictatorship. The innovators and the journalists in here will not bow their heads to that dictatorship. They are responsible for the people. We can't let the rulers operate according to their whims and fancies. They are playing with people's money. We just want to protect our channel. We are ready to work with any politician who would assume their duties after an interview at the channel. We are ready to build the channel. We are all united towards achieving that goal. During the protest, the security at the ITN premises was beefed up.
Testifying at today's Presidential Commission of Inquiry on irregularities at Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Mihin Lanka was the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy.
According to the Governor, the CBSL has taken steps to amend Section 4 of the Registered Stock and Security Ordinance in a bid to address a number of concerns on the issuance of treasury bonds. Explaining the processes executed by the Central Bank and its Public Debt Department when issuing government securities, the Governor further stated that since 2015, treasury bonds have not been issued through direct placements, and the Central Bank now follows a hybrid system to issue treasury bonds. It is also revealed that several instruction manuals issued by the Central Bank were not approved by the relevant officials, and no text or document was available to identify those responsible for preparing such documents. The Governor also requested the Commission to summon the former Governor of the Central Bank and the former Superintendent of the Public Debt Department.
දක්ෂතම දේශීය ක්‍රීඩා කණ්ඩායම මහනුවර රග්බි කණ්ඩායම.
Are you the most skilled national sports team this year?
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018
celebrated the 2019 New Year earlier today, while Sri Lanka will witness the dawn of the New Year in another 2.5 hours.
We leave you tonight with the footage of how the New Year dawned to many countries. We also wish all our viewers a happy and prosperous New Year. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Dasni Athada.
I'm Saturanga Aparachi. Good night.